Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Morning.
Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Morning, guys.
Good morning, Samantha.
Morning.
Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Good morning. I'm going to give them 1 more minute, guys, to enter, and then I'll take attendance, okay?
Take your time, Miss Amanda.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, when I call your name, unmute your mic, say here, and then mute your mic again, please. Today is what, the 8th? All right, Abdurrahman Kareem. Abdurrahman Kareem.
Here.
Thank you. Adito.
Here.
Thank you. Basil.
Here.
Thank you. Iyad Adil.
Here.
Thank you. Iyad Tamer.
Here.
Thank you. Hamza. Hamza. Hey, Moaz.
Here. I'm Hamza.
Okay, Hamza. Okay. Muhammad.
Here.
Thank you. Mustafa. Mustafa. Omar. Omar. Tahir. Tahir.
Here.
Wahba.
Here.
Thank you. Yasin. Yasin. Yusuf.
Here.
Thank you. Iso. Iso. Farah.
Here.
Thank you. Farida.
Here.
Thank you. Jada.
Here.
Thank you. Jenna.
Here.
Thank you. Jumana.
Here.
Thank you. Leanne.
Here.
Thank you. Leila. Thank you. Leila. Okay. Medic.
Here.
Thank you, Pilar. Pilar,
Here.
thank you. Reem,
Here.
thank you. Ragmini,
Yes, Miss Amanda.
thank you. And Tia. Tia. Okay, guys. So in your literature anthology book, we're on page 534. 534. We're going to read a few more poems today, and we're going to discuss them. Sorry, tickle in my throat this morning. We're going to discuss them and talk about these poems, and then the next session we will continue our writing that we have started together. Okay? All right, let's begin on page 534, The Drum. The Drum. Yusuf.
Yes, I'm still getting the page.
You can see it on the screen.
The drum. The drum. Duke Lee says the weird
The world.
the world is drum tight and I can see it.
Here you go, Yusuf. Now read it.
Daddy says the world is a drum tight and hard, and I told him I'm gonna put out my own rhyme rhyme
Rhythm.
rhythm.
Okay, it says the drum. Daddy says the world is a drum, tight and hard. And I told him I'm gonna beat out my own rhythm. Okay, what do you think this poem means? Who can tell me? What does this poem mean? Reem? Hello, Reem.
Hello, Mr. Mom.
What do you think this poem means?
That her dad is saying
You gotta raise your voice. I can't hear you.
that her dad is saying the world is drum.
That's it?
It is describing the drum.
It's describing the drum. How does it describe the drum?
But by saying tight and hard.
Okay. So it says the world is a drum, tight and hard. What is that? What do we have there? Do you know?
Yes,
What is it?
rhyming words.
Sorry?
Rhyming words.
Yeah, no, they don't rhyme. The words don't rhyme. No, that's not it. What do we have there? Who can tell me? Raise your hand if you know what we have there. Ragmini, what do we have?
It means the world is hard.
That's right.
And
That is what it means. It means that he's telling his daughter, life is difficult. Life is hard. The world is hard. Go ahead, honey.
and the second stanza says, I'm going to live it my own way.
That's exactly right. Very good, Rugmini. That's right. She's saying, I'm going to beat my own rhythm. No matter what everything else is doing, no matter what else is going on, she's going to handle things her own way. Excellent. Okay, and what do we have here? Let's see. Muhammad, what do we have in the first two lines?
First two lines.
Yep, first two lines.
I think personification.
Okay, if you think personification, defend it for me. What human quality are you giving to an inhuman thing?
Uh,
Is it personification?
I think no.
Okay, so what do you think it is?
Um, a metaphor.
That's right, it is a metaphor. And what two
Metaphor,
things are
right?
being compared, Muhammad?
The drum and the world.
That's exactly right. It's a metaphor. Daddy says the world is a drum, tight and hard. It's a metaphor comparing the world to a drum. Okay? All right, very good. Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next page, page 535. Page 535. Birdfoot's grandpa. Birdfoot's grandpa. Okay. All right, I'm putting all hands down as there's no question to answer. I'm lowering all hands. Let me pick a reader. 1, 2, 3 stanzas. Let's see. Muhammad, how about you read the first paragraph? Moaz, you read the second paragraph. And the ad
Okay.
scammer, sorry, forgive me. Read the first stanza, the second stanza, and the ad camera read the third stanza. Okay? Birdfoot's grandpa. You can start
So,
with,
Samantha, should I read the last stanza?
yes, yeah, the last stanza.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Birdfoot's grandpa. Okay. The old man must have stopped our car 2 dozen times to climb out and gather into his hands the small toad blinded by our lights and leaping live drops of rain. Well,
Second stanza.
continue.
No, Moaz is supposed to be reading.
Yes.
Hello, Moaz.
Yes. Yes.
I asked you to read the second stanza.
The
So this
rain
is why you have
was
to be
falling.
prepared. We've broken the poem now. We stopped in the middle because you weren't ready to read. Please be ready. Muhammad, repeat your stanza, please.
Okay. The old man must have stopped our 2 dozen times to climb out and gather into his hands and small toads blinded our lights and leaping like drops of rain. The rain was falling, a mist about his white hair, and I kept saying, "You can't save them all. Accept it. Get back in. We have got."
We have got places to go.
Should I read now?
Yes.
But leathery hands full of wet brown life, knee deep in the summer roadside grass. He just smiled and said, "They have places to go to." Joseph Burchak.
Okay, let's discuss this poem. What's going on in our poem? Thank you, guys. What's going on in our poem? Melik, what are we talking about?
In the story,
Sorry? What are we talking
yes,
about,
and
sweetheart?
the bird, that the old man must have stopped our
I don't
car.
want you to read the poem again. I want you to tell me. What are we talking about? What is the poem talking about? Do you
That
understand it?
no, I don't understand that this poetry, like
Okay,
this
let's take a
part.
look and read it slowly and think about what the words mean. It's really quite simple. All right, Rugmini, yours is the only hand up for explanation. Now, why don't you explain the first stanza for us?
Okay. It says the old man stopped the car a lot of times to climb out and gather the small frogs into his hands. And those frogs are blinded by the lights and leaping live drops of rain. They're like leaping live drops of rain.
Okay, so the old man is driving his
It's a
car, and in
poem.
front of his car, he sees all these little frogs jumping around, small toads. And he gets out and he keeps trying to pick up the toads and move them off the road so that he can drive. He wants to save the toads because they are jumping around in front of his lights and they're blinded, they can't see where they're going. And the rain was falling on him as he's outside picking up the frogs. What does the person who's in the car with him say to him, Rugmini?
Sorry?
What does the person who's with him say to him?
Um, they said you can't save them all, accept it.
That's right. Like no matter how many you pick up,
You
you're not
that
going to be
you
able to save all of them. That's right.
them all.
And so the last stanza explains what, Rugmini?
Um, the old hands full of the full of mud. The grass is knee deep, and the roadside grass is knee deep in the summer. He smiled and said, "They have places to go too."
Okay, so the person who's outside trying to catch all of these toads says to him, he told him, you can't save them. We have places to go. Get back in the car. And the man who's outside trying to save the toads, his hands are full of toads. It says wet brown light. That's the toads that he's catching. So the grass is very high. It's difficult for him to catch them. And he lets the frogs out into the roadside grass. After he does, he turns and smiles at the person in the car who wants to leave and says they have places to go too. So he's waiting for them to cross his path before he continues. Okay? All right. Thank you, Ragmini, for your help.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys. Now, let's take a look at the poem and see what we find in the poem. In the first stanza, what do we see? The old man and oh no, the old man must have stopped our car 24 times to climb out and gather into his hands the small toads blinded by our lights and leaping like live drops of rain. What do we have in this stanza? Diane, what do we have?
Personification.
Okay, what is the personification that you see?
Leaping live drops of rain.
Okay, so what human quality is giving and what is it given to?
Sorry,
Sorry?
I can't hear you.
You told me it's personification. So that means that we've given a human quality to a non-human thing. What human quality did we give and what did we give it to?
Uh, Leaping the
Okay,
rain,
so, sorry?
the rain,
What about the rain?
I
Says
mean
the
leaping
rain is
the
leaping.
rain.
It says the rain is leaping. The small toads blinded by our lights and leaping live drops of rain. Does it say that the rain is leaping or that the frogs are leaping, the toads? Let's look at the poem. The small toads blinded by our lights and leaping live drops of rain. Are the toads leaping or is the rain leaping?
Yes, okay, I found it. The small tools blinded by our lights and leaping the live drops of rain.
Okay, honey, you just reread it. What are you trying to say? I want to know, is it the
I mean the
toads?
person,
Is it the toads that are leaping or the rain that is leaping?
the toads.
Okay, so toads can leap, right? These are animals that jump, so they can leap. This is not personification. What do we have there?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
What is the comparison here? Let's get some help. Mohammed, what do we have there?
Metaphor.
That's right. What's the metaphor? What's the comparison?
The comparison is
Remember, when we have a metaphor, we compare two things that are not alike. So what two things are we comparing? The small toads blinded by our lights and leaping, live drops of rain.
and the rain.
The rain and,
So and the blinded toads.
that's right, the toads and the rain, okay? It says that the toads that are jumping around are like live drops of rain. Okay, this is a metaphor. Let's look at the second stanza now. The rain was falling, a mist about his white hair, and I kept saying, you can't save them all. We've got, I'm sorry, get back in, we've got places to go. What do we find in this stanza? The rain was falling, a mist about his white hair. Where are the people who are supposed to be participating? I'm going to give all marks today for no participation. Hamza, what do we have in this stanza?
Personification.
What's the personification that you see?
Mist about his white hair. It's giving human qualities to the mist.
What is the human quality that is given?
White hair.
Okay, but it says a mist about his white hair, meaning that there is mist around his head. Remember, the rain is falling around him. So there is mist around his head, the dampness in the air, the water that is left. There is mist around him. It's not giving him anything. It's telling you that there is mist about his white hair.
Okay.
Are Muhammad and Rugmini the only two people who are going to raise their hand to participate today? What about imagery? Do we see imagery in this stanza? Do we see imagery?
Yes,
All right, Muhammad, tell
yes,
us. Do we see imagery in the stanza?
yes, I do.
Yep.
The imagery.
Yes.
I cannot. 1 second. I will read.
Okay, 1 second. Go ahead, Muhammad. Hamza, tell us. What's the imagery that you see?
The imagery, mist around his white hair.
Right. So it's telling us that the rain is falling, a mist around his white hair. This is to help us imagine what it is like as he is standing out in the rain trying to catch these toads. But leathery hands full of wet brown life, knee deep in summer roadside grass, he just smiled and said, they have places to go too. What do we see in the third stanza? Adito?
Um, a metaphor,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
imagery.
Imagery. That's right, it's imagery. What kind of imagery do you see? What do you see that helps you to develop a picture in your mind? What language does he use?
Uh, leathery hands full of wet brown life,
That's right. He could say
knee deep
dry
in
hands
summer.
holding toads. Dry hands holding the toads. But he says leathery hands. He wants you to understand that his old hands have worked very hard and they are now dry because of all the work that he has done. And instead of saying full of the toads, he says wet brown life. He's describing the toads that he's holding. What else, Adito? What else, Adito? What else do you see as far as description?
Um,
Remember, imagery is when we use the words that we choose to help us create a picture in our mind. Malik, what kind of imagery do you see?
Um, I forgot to lower my hands.
Wahba, what kind of imagery do you see?
A mist about his white hair.
Okay, we've already discussed that one. We're on the third stanza now. We already discussed the white hair in the second stanza. We're on the third stanza now. And Adito told us leathery hands full of wet brown life. There's another reference to imagery.
Knee deep in the summer roadside grass.
That's right. It's telling us that the grass on the side of the road is all the way up to his knees. Okay, and it says in the summer grass, meaning that the grass is bright green and is growing during the summer. Okay, so these words are meant to help you create a picture in your mind. This poem is full of imagery, okay? All right, even when it talks about the frogs dancing in front of the lights, in front of the car, the live drops of rain, they're bouncing around in front of the lights of the car. Okay, also imagery to help you create a picture in your mind. All right, let's go to the next page from My Chinatown. This is 536. From My Chinatown. Okay, let's see. Jumana, how about you read for us?
12. Okay, sure. From my Chinatown. 12 hours every day. The needle
The needle,
on her sewing
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 machine.
machine gobbles the fabric, turning miles of cloth into into pants and jackets, skirts and dresses. After supper, I sit beside my mother, listening to the hum of the motor, the soft chatter of hungry needle, of the hungry needle.
Finish, honey.
Continue?
Yes. Finish, Jemana.
Okay. Sometimes I fall asleep beside her. What?
I didn't say anything.
Hello?
I didn't say anything. I'm waiting for you to finish.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I fall asleep beside her, the sound of her work. A lullaby.
Okay. So again, it says 12 hours every day. The needle on her sewing machine gobbles up the fabric, turning miles of cloth into pants and jackets, skirts and dresses. After supper, I sat beside my mother, listening to the hum of the motor, the soft chatter of the hungry needle. Sometimes I fall asleep beside her, the sound of her work, a lullaby. Okay, so let's take a look at the first stanza. Lots of stuff going on here as well. Okay, if you see examples of imagery, personification, metaphors, please raise your hand. Okay, Tahir, tell us, what do you see?
Personification.
Okay, tell me where.
In the first stanza,
Where? What's the example?
gobbles of the fabric. It gives human features to another thing.
That's exactly right. It says that the needle gobbles up the fabric. Gobbles means to eat something very quickly. If you've ever watched a sewing machine, you know that you push the material through the machine and it grabs it and moves it forward as it puts stitches in it to sew it. Okay, so gobbles is a human quality, eating something very quickly and in big gulps. And a sewing machine cannot gobble. So yes, this is personification. Excellent, Tahir. Okay. Let's see. Abdurrahman, what do you see?
I see another personification.
Tell us.
Hum of the motor.
That's right. A motor, which is the motor on the sewing machine, the motor that makes it run, cannot hum. Humming is a human quality. It is the sound we make when we say, hmm, 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 hmm. This is humming. So although the sound coming from the motor may remind him of humming, it cannot hum. That is correct. Very good. Okay. Something else. Nice to see a couple of new hands going up. Thank you. All right. Reem, tell us, what do you think?
Uh, of the hungry needle.
Of the hungry needle?
Yes.
Okay. What is that?
Personification
What's the personification?
of the hungry needle.
Why is it personification? What's the human quality?
Hungry.
That's right. The needle, saying that the needle is hungry is a quality that humans possess. We get hungry. Needles don't get hungry. That is correct, Reem. Very good.
Miss Amanda,
Yes.
in the project, I didn't hear the second one, but I heard
I can't hear
how
you. I can't hear what you're saying.
in the writing project that we were making with you, and I didn't hear the other one, but I heard how many
Okay, honey, let's finish
how
what we're
many.
doing right now. We can discuss the writing at the end of the session or in the next session when we do the writing. Let's not get off topic. Okay, let's not take the focus away from what we're doing. Okay, Adito, tell us, what do you see?
I see
I see at least 2 more examples that we need to point out. All right, let's get help from a friend. Wahba, what do you see?
I see personification.
Tell us where.
Uh, and 12 hours every day, the needle on her sewing machine gobbles up the fabric.
Well,
Gobbles.
that's the first one that we said. That's the
I'm
first
sorry.
example that we did. Okay? There is another example of personification. Who can find it? Lots of hands up. If you don't know the answer, please put your hands down. The same people that are raising their hands every time. So if you've left your hand up, make sure that you put it down if you don't know. Ragmini, do you know the other example of personification?
Yes, the soft chatter.
That's right, the soft chatter. Chatter means to talk. So the needle cannot talk. It says the
We can
soft,
only
sorry,
we can only talk.
that's
It's a
right.
personification.
It's a human quality to chatter. So we are giving that human quality to the needle. Personification. Excellent, Ragmini. All right, one more thing that we should point out in the last stanza. Who can tell me? In our last stanza. Our last stanza. I would love to see some new hands. Basil, Iad, Farah, Jada, Jumana, Pilar, Farida. I'd love to see some of you participating. All right, Leanne, tell us in the last stanza, what do we have?
sound of her work. A lullaby.
What is that?
This is a personification
What's
because her work can't make a sound.
Sure it does. Sure it does. Think about when you have a fan on next to you, how the fan makes a sound as it moves back and forth. The same thing, the machine can make a sound. So it's not personification. It can make sound. Think about your car. When your car is running, there's a sound, right?
Yes.
So it can make a sound. It's not personification. What is it? The sound of her work, a lullaby.
Yes, what is a lullaby?
A lullaby is a song that you sing to a child to make them fall asleep. All right, Hamza, what is that? The sound of her work, a lullaby.
The sound of her work, a lullaby.
Yes.
Her lullaby.
All right, guys, we have less than a minute. I'm going to tell you, this is a metaphor. A metaphor. It compares the sound of her work